every year. Millions of people decide they are going to change their lives. They promise themselves a new body, a new level of success, a new routine, a new version of who they're going to become. And in the beginning, it feels powerful. You wake up early, you plan your week, you write goals down, you feel focused, clear, certain. For a moment, it feels like this time will be different. And then, something shifts. The excitement fades. The routine weakens. The momentum slows. The gym day gets skipped. The project gets postponed. The discipline feels heavier. And eventually, the old pattern returns. Most people interpret this as personal failure. They say, I just need more motivation. I need to be more disciplined. I need to want it more. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Motivation was never designed to carry long-term effort. Motivation is not a stable resource. It is a surge. It is a temporary emotional spike driven by novelty, hope, and anticipation. Your brain releases dopamine not when you achieve a goal, but when you imagine it. That's why planning feels productive. That's why buying the course feels empowering. That's why announcing your new routine feels satisfying. Anticipation is rewarding. Execution is effort. And effort does not always feel good. Between the ages of 23 and 44, life becomes complex. You're no longer experimenting without consequence. You carry responsibility. Career pressure grows. Financial commitments increase. Relationships demand attention. Time feels scarce. Energy fluctuates. Stress becomes normal. And stress changes how your brain behaves. When stress rises, the nervous system prioritizes safety. It chooses comfort. It chooses predictability. It chooses what feels certain. Growth requires discomfort, but the brain is wired to minimize discomfort. So when motivation fades, which it naturally does, the brain defaults back to stability. This is not weakness, it is biology. Most people build motivation-based systems. They work when inspired. They exercise when excited. They focus when they feel ready. They start projects when energy is high. But emotions fluctuate daily. If action depends on mood, action becomes optional. And optional goals rarely survive real life. The problem is not that you lack ambition. The problem is that you built your goals on unstable fuel. Motivation feels intense, but intensity is not consistency. There is another system. It is quieter, less dramatic, less exciting, but far more powerful. Self-regulation. Regulation is the ability to act in alignment with your values regardless of emotional state. It is structure. It is reducing negotiation. It is removing friction. It is deciding once, so you don't have to decide again. Motivation asks, do I feel like doing this? Regulation asks, what is the next small step? Motivation depends on emotional highs. Regulation depends on systems. For example, motivation says, I'm starting a 5-day-a-week workout routine. Regulation says, shoes by the door, 20 minutes, no debate. Motivation says, I need a perfect 2-hour focus session. Regulation says, set a 25-minute timer, phone outside the room. Motivation creates intensity. Regulation creates repetition. And repetition is what rewires identity. In your early 20s, bursts of energy can move you forward. In your 30s and 40s, reliability becomes power. Life gets heavier. There are more variables, more unpredictability. You cannot depend on feeling inspired every day. You need systems that function when you are tired, when you are stressed, when you are unmotivated. The people who succeed long-term are not more inspired than you. They are more regulated. They automate decisions. They schedule behavior. They reduce friction. They act, especially on days they don't feel like it. And those days matter most, because growth compounds in small, repeated actions, not emotional surges. Motivation starts goals. Regulation finishes them. So if you've been starting and stopping, if you've been blaming yourself, if you've been waiting to feel ready, You don't have a motivation problem. You have a regulation gap. Stop chasing inspiration. Start designing structure. Because the future you want does not require more excitement. It requires fewer negotiations. And the moment you understand that, everything changes.